All right, good morning, everybody. Good morning here. Gotta get a little market breakdown from overnight. See what we can expect this morning. Maybe just a minute to get that set up. All right. Currently here on NGC. Looks like we're just consolidating. We're just gonna accumulate. Looks like right down here where we're at right now. We're just below last night's supplies origin zone. So until we can break out, we're nothing to trade there. Same thing on NNQ. We're just consolidating here. None of this is really tradable until we make a move below or above here. So, we need to break below 29,527, and we need to get above 29,651. If we can get above that or below the other, then we'll have a potential setup. But we don't trade just because they break below or above. We got to wait for confirmation. That way we don't get stopped out quickly. ES. You see we're doing the same thing. All three of them, we're just consolidating right now. We're accumulating. We're just accumulating some liquidity so we can make a real move. And normally here around 6 a.m. Central Time, we'll get us a decent little move one way or the other. You just never know if you get a setup. So, let's look at some stocks and kind of see where they're at. You see AMD opened up, and I have pre-market data on because you need to see some overnight levels. I know there'll be some people tell you to not have it on, but there's a reason that these big institutions and banks have overnight and have this overnight data on. They're not just having it on for no reason. They're watching this too, so we need to watch it. Meta, this is a classic example of we gathered a bunch of liquidity, finally moved. But, this was at 3 a.m. We gathered all of this from yesterday at 2:45 p.m. and then, the evening session after hours just kept consolidating. And you knew, I won't say you knew, but you had a really good idea that this was going to happen at some point just because of what I see here. Video. I got to get my levels ready for today here. But, you want to use your, I always have my supply and demand zones ready for the next day. That'll be my supply. And I don't use just any hours. I'll use certain hour But the way it looks, I will not make a demand zone for yesterday. I will use the one that I previously had set because it had not been broken and we are rejecting the top of it. So it is still valid. I will not use anything else till that gets broke because that's telling me buyers are present right here. So, and nothing in this stream is financial advice. It's just strictly for education purposes only, and hopefully you can learn something along the way. You see, we did the same thing here on Apple. I had this demand zone from, this is from Friday. So, and we broke through Friday's supply. We already broke it. So right now, there's a supply from Monday. You see, we never even got close to it. So just looking at Apple, I may be wrong, but I would almost expect we're going to get a pretty good move today out of Apple. You see, this is what I do every morning. I'll go through, if I don't get it done in the evening, which I wasn't able to yesterday evening, I'll just mark out my supply and demand zones from the previous day, so I know kind of where we need to look for today. And you see, Friday's demand zone on Amazon is still intact. It's still valid. It did break here, but you look, we're immediately back in it. So that's not. We needed a good displacement down through it to break it. We didn't get it. So Amazon looks a little more choppy than Apple did. Apple was pretty clean, looking like we might do something. You hear my chair squeaking. And you see here again, this is from Wednesday, last Wednesday. This demand zone is still active. It has not been broken on Tesla. And I mean, you see, we tapped it here Thursday, didn't break it. Tapped it Monday. Yesterday, we did not break it again. We're just testing the top of it. Now, I would set a supply zone right here, or we might go, no, right up here it is. We'll use this right here. This will be the supply zone. Now we got that ready. Microsoft. These off, and these are all the different colors, and that some people these are not these boxes I have are not fair value gaps. They are key zones that when you start to understand how this market moves, they are something price really reacts to, but you got to know what zones you're looking for. And I always will mark those. And like you see, I've got two supply zones, and why this one's still up here is because it hasn't been broke, and price will usually return to it at some point. And so I want to know where it was at. And then I don't have to go looking. Yeah, see. Well, you see what we did 3 a.m. this morning, came all the way down and tested tested the demand from yesterday. So now potentially, let's see. I always like to check higher time frames. I'll go back and check higher time frames, and make sure what the higher time frame is lined up with this lower. Because if you have a higher time frame and it says bullish, but you're on the slower time frame, and it says bearish, then it's you got two different confluences there going on. So that's going to be a lower probability trade. Now you see we broke here on Google yesterday. We broke that demand there, and now we broke another demand. So this demand here was from all the way back at June 26th. And that's 38. Let's see if I can go out here and find another one. It should be right in this area, this level. Let's see if we can find it. Yeah, this is going to be the next right here. I guess I don't have it, didn't have it on here on Google, but there is the demand for that day. And if you look, this is all the way back. Let's do the back so you can see all that. That's all the way back on April the 24th. And that will be probably the next area that we're going to come to. We're currently at 352. We'll see if we can find another one over there now. There may be on a Friday. Let's see if we can find something for a Monday. Probably be right right here. Yeah, we got that one on Monday, and then okay. Now, is there another one? Could be one more just above them. And like I said, they have to get broken back down through, and they have not been closed under. Right here. Make sure this is in. Yep. There you go. There's our demand. this is the demand that it's touching now, and that's on April 29th. Let's see. Actually, we actually got, let's look here. This will be the demand for the 29th, because this is the last down candle before that push up. This is the lowest one. So that will be the one we're looking for. So yeah, we got a little bit to go down here. There's Google, you see we're just consolidating on that too. There's really nothing going on there. I will go back checking, yeah, into still just in that range. Same with MTC and MES and ES. They're all the same right now. Back on the stocks and MU, you know, you see yesterday we tapped this demand from Friday, no, last Wednesday, July the 8th. Netflix, I got this yesterday. I got this here at the open. And the reason I got that was because there is a zone right in here that's a key zone. Um, I knew when we got this reaction out of it, it was going to make a good push. And so I took that up to here to the price target and got out. And I have a job outside. This is not my full-time job. I just do this on the side for a little extra. But just hoping to try to teach everyone else is looking for how they can do something outside of their own job and actually learn how to trade, because what I'm showing is something you can use for long term or short term or day trading, swing trading, doesn't matter. It works for everything. And you're going to learn how to trade with the institution else in one too. As you see, Netflix is just accumulating here in this zone. And you'll know when you get these zones right, they respect. You see, we respected this 50% level on the bottom and top. Look how we're just respecting the bottom here, and then up here we're just tapping that zone. So and we opened up over the supply from yesterday on applied materials. Just kind of in the range here on Palo Alto, Teton. Not a lot of, nothing looks really juicy on that. ASML Holdings, now this can give you some good trades, you know. You always got to remember the first key thing is manage risk. That is the most important, managing risk. And I'm just looking for a supply kind of inside the real trading hours. regular trading hour zone if I can find it. If not, then we may have to go outside of it a little bit. But that's a But you see how that supply get lined up. So this is the right area for the supply, and how I see these candles react. So, but we got a little bit of idea on what to look at now on these stocks. And now let's look here and see if we got anything on. And I always watch, if I'm day trading, I'm watching the 5 minute for structure, making sure the 15-minute is in the same, gives me the same information as the lower time frame. So, and the 1 hour. If the 1 hour and the 15-minute don't look in agreement with the lower, then it's going to be a lower probability trade. And then now I enter on a lower time frame, but it's not the 30-second or the 1 minute. So, and I would think here we're getting close to 6 o'clock on Central Time here, AM time. So usually around that time frame we'll get some volatility come up. If you got a question about anything, or if you want to look at something else that I haven't looked at, just hit me in the chat with it and we'll take a peek. And it's starting to get a little bit more activity going here too. But, I mean, unless we break down below this right here, you're just going to be trying to guess at what's going on here. This is just in that range. You're going to get in trouble. And this candle right here, if you were watching that on a lower time frame and you tried to go long up here at that, you got stopped out immediately because all this was doing was taking all this liquidity up here so it can get ready to make this move around 6 o'clock. And I hope that you all didn't enter on this. That's why I say you got to wait for the break and then confirmation on it. And if you see an entry and you miss it, do not chase it. If you miss the entry and you say, oh, it's already took off, no, I'm going to go ahead and try it. Just wait. The entry had already triggered. You don't chase. You just simply wait for the next trade. Do not FOMO. I'll show you an example from yesterday. Let me find it. Right there it is. So I seen this happen yesterday, and I wasn't paying attention enough. But I seen this sweep, and then you see we came back up, and we came back up because we broke structure down, made the sweep, and now we're going to pull back. We're going to retest the zone that we broke out of. But I seen this, and by the time I thought I could get in, it was already moved up to here, and I thought I'm too late. So I did not chase. I just waited. I thought I will wait for the next trade, and that's why I say don't try to get in if it's too late. Because could have I got in here and went on up? Yeah. But why take the chance? Just wait for another clean trade. We're still just not. Oh, here we go. ES is looks like it's doing a little moving. Yeah. Now, are we going to sweep? Yeah, we're going to go down there and sweep. We may come on down here below this and sweep the bottom of this demand. And like I said, this is generally what happens about 6 a.m. time. Could be 10 minutes early, 10 minutes late, but somewhere around this time, you're going to get a little volatility in the market. And this is central time that I talk about. But you see, we barely clicked below there. Now we've broke under all this, so we finally have maybe an idea of what we can do. But we still have to get a setup. We're a ways away from getting an entry, a clean entry. Can you take some gambling stabs here? Sure. But that's how you're going to blow up your account. Trust me, I've been there. Patience is a thing that you just have to develop. And when you do enter these trades, you just have to know that you just assume the risk. So if it goes your way, it goes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. That's why we learn how to read market structure. Now, I think there's two different things here that could potentially happen. We can come on down, sweep these lows from last night, overnight Asia. If we don't do that, we can reject out of this demand from yesterday, or when was it not on reject? Yeah, that was last Thursday. This is last Thursday's demand. So I need to, let's see, here's our demand from overnight. Let's get that marked up. So I don't have this. This is broke. So we don't need it there anymore. And the blue lines are just price target levels. And the three SMAs here, they are not used for entries. They just tell me kind of a little bit of context of what type of price action is acting. So we'll see if we can push on down here and come to this demand down here. If you watch this at a later time and you have a question about something in here that maybe I didn't explain well enough, leave me a comment and I will try to explain it a little more to you in the comments if I can. I mean, if you look to the left, you kind of know this is where you're going to stop because you have the bottom of this candle open, the top of this candle closed, the top of this candle open, and the top of this candle closed. Uh, and if you continue looking across there, you have this candle opened, and you can see there's several over here. You got candle closes, candle open, and then you go over here, another candle close. So you got several different points right there. That's why the market stopped right there for a break. So now is it going to sweep and go back up and just take liquidity here? You know, we don't know yet. We'll have to wait and see. You know, NQ and gold, as I'm looking over here on the other screen, there's nothing going on with them. But looks like we've got preparation done for the morning. We know where some levels are for the stops options, and we know kind of what we're looking at here on the futures. We've got demand supply made, and just kind of let the market tell us where it's going and give us the entry and not rush, and we'll be patient. So if you like what you're hearing here and you want to learn more about how to read the market structure, then be sure you hit that subscribe button so you know when I go live or post a video. You don't want to miss out on that information. Well, thank you all for tuning in, and we will see you later.